So shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. I'm getting pushback from, well, it's somebody that is apparently is writing a book, and now it doesn't believe or can't believe that I would be a witness because I don't believe in the flat Earth, and I'm kind of just. Here's the deal. As a teenager, I had conspiracy theories going on inside of me that I couldn't even believe myself. But I was told by a spirit in me that that the government and pharmaceutical companies were actually spraying microbes in the air to make us sick so that they could gain power and money and sell drugs and make us sick on purpose. Okay? This is in the 80s. I was a teenager. I was 17 years old. I'll never forget this. As I go into my parents' restaurant, I'm telling this waitress, I'm like, I know, I don't even believe it myself, but it's coming, this idea is there. This is something that's coming into me. And I can't believe it. How can that be? But I feel that as truth. And so I couldn't even believe, most of my life, I couldn't even believe what he was telling me in the spirit. But it actually ended up being true. And very, very true. More true than and now with all the stuff that's come out is like so true. And I know, even where, like they say, they call it Gulf War syndrome. Gulf War, not just Gulf War syndrome, I'm sorry. But what they say is, well, yeah, Gulf War syndrome, but not only that. I'm talking about fatigue syndrome. Chronic fatigue syndrome. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, I just noticed my floor is kind of warping here, and I had to find where if there's a leak. Anyway, so chronic fatigue syndrome. They called it yuppie syndrome or yuppie disease, and Truckee, that was where a big thing was. Well, that's where it was shown that they were actually doing studies with spraying microbes over that area with chemtrails. And a man that was actually telling me these things is actually dead now. And when he was telling me, I thought, dude, I believe in conspiracy theories, but you're going too far. You've gone that, when he was talking about chemtrails and stuff. Well, it actually ended up being true. So all these things, you know, I would be called a conspiracy theorist, but that term was given to us by whom? The CIA. The CIA, to counteract the people, the truthers that knew what happened, that knew something happened, that it was a conspiracy for JFK. The actual, I believe Bush was in there at the time. I'm not positive, but good old Bush, may he be exposed. May the whole family be exposed. So what they did was they called them conspiracy theorists and made fun of them and called them tin hat people and made fun of them. So these are professional debunkers, okay? The CIA has been in this for a long time. Do I believe everything that NASA says? Of course not. Do I believe every picture they've given us? Of course not. Do I believe that the whole world is fooled? And of course I do. Do I believe the earth is flat? No. I can't the spirit in me cannot let me believe that. Even though the spirit has been telling me things that I didn't believe, even believe. And many times you'll even hear me saying, sometimes I'll say things I don't even necessarily believe because it's coming through spirit, but it's not what I know inside of me or not what I did, but later on it proves to be valid. What I believe is happening here with the flat earth thing is misunderstandings in scripture, of just understanding how words, I mean, you're trying to describe something by this language. And And haven't gotten through all the scriptures. I'm just telling you what I feel. And I have to go by feeling, because this is what he has guided me in, and this is how he's guided me to truth. And I say, I get it. You can't trust feelings, and you can't trust that, and don't lean onto your own understandings. Anyway, all I can say is I found the narrow path and the narrow way. I found him, and he guides me all the way. And I'm not going through this. I'm not getting this through biblical knowledge, through earthly knowledge at all. I'm doing it all by the Spirit. And so all these people are getting knowledge from everywhere, and they're putting all these connections together, and they're like, oh, this and that, oh, yeah. And they're going by earthly knowledge, and I'm not what I'm going by. I'm going by the Spirit, how he's taught me. And what he's taught me about this flat earth thing is there are professional debunkers that are trying to debunk conspiracy theorists. And these people, however they do it, they go in, and it's been proven. I mean, this is something that in history the CIA would do. So to make fun of the truth, they would actually bring a lie in with that truth, the little bit of shit, to stir it all up, to make it all false. Do you see? It's just to prove us as fools. I know from what I see, and everything it's in orbs. I see spiritual orbs. I see these orbs are the same as inside the body as in outside the body. You just can't prove this flat earth thing to me, because they like to read some scriptures out of the Bible or say some things, because it's not. Anyway, it goes against my being. You know, you can't take these things so literally. You don't understand that everything is energy, and it made it multidimensional, and it has to do with his Spirit and creating this darkness to create something. All these things are, I believe he created us to express something, but to be honest with you, I believe this whole universe, or whatever, all these things are all parts of his body. Each one of these suns are a living cell of his body, just like we're called. S-O-N. You got to realize everything has to do with frequency. The sun's in the heavens. All I can share was what he shares with me and how he explains it to me. The suns in the heavens that we see, they're angels, they're messengers from the heavens. Those things are, as we become one with him, we become like the angels. Our aura becomes so big that our light is so big, it literally connects with a sun, which is who we are in the heavens. We literally take our seat in the heavens. We take our seat in the heavenly host. And so when you become one with him and get back to that source of where all the light is coming from, we become one with these suns. This is just kind of how he's sharing it with me. I'm just sharing with him, not any biblical, but he always proves it to me. But we take our seat in the heavens. And when we're one with him, we become one with the light, and we become one with the all. We literally have all the host of heavens in us. You see, it's there. When we would have meetings, people would see, and these cameras would take pictures of these orbs. And I believe all that's what these orbs are. They're beings. Angelic, other beings from other dimensions, and they're coming there to be there with us. What I mean by angelic is they have the ability to be messengers of Yah, but they have the ability to be in multiple places. So their consciousness, our meetings taking place, was very important to them because of what's happening around us, and what this is all about is the creation of the coming together of his temple. We each, as a pillar, okay, so I'm a pillar in his temple. He showed me that. And he shares with me those things. What a pillar in his temple is a pillar of light. It's a portal of light, and that's it. And it goes from here all the way to the central source of all creation and all light. And so we become, and we would see these orbs, they would come in different colors. And I would know what kind of frequency they were by the color that they were. So there's high ones. They're low color, low frequency in high places. And they're just, that's what these are the fallen angels. And what they're doing is, well, they build the temple. It's all part of the temple. There's 7 spirits coming from the throne of Yah. Has to do with our 7 gates, our 7 chakras. It has to do with 7 heavens. As we climb up in frequency, we reach our crown, and we can go beyond our crown. Our crown of salvation is, you know who. It's who he came to live with us. It's all different spiritual frequencies. This is what Jacob's ladder is. It's basically that you can climb up the ladder. When you open your light of who you are, you enter into, you allow the whole family into you. You become an avatar of light. And I have spirits in me. I have, when I get into the heavenly realms, they all start speaking through me in different tongues and movements and stuff, and I'll feel it. And I allow them because it's the Holy Spirit. See, then the Holy Spirit is all of them. That's why Yahushua had to die, so that the Comforter may come. And the Comforter comes with a whole cloud of witnesses with him. And all those cloud of witnesses are all these people that have reached the heavenly realms. And they're not just the Christian ones. They are people all over the world. And you start to see that they all had a purpose. And they all had a building of this kingdom. Different parts of the body. Just like he literally created his body in all the 7 continents of the world to be different parts of his heavenly body. It's all micro as it is macro as it is micro, and it just goes back and forth. But do you see that the enemy comes in to fool us? And this has been going on for a long time. It's been all about control. It's all about MK Ultra, all the things that they do, and it was all to control us. These things were not supposed to go out. The people would take oaths of death before information, and now he's teaching it to fools. What do I mean by fool? I'm not trained by the world. I was guided by how he guided me. He trained me. I'm an unhewn stone of the altar. You cannot fashion me. You can't take a chisel to try, oh, he'll work, but we just have to smooth out these edges. No, you can't. Those edges will cut you like a knife. I was made this way on purpose. So these people, they think because of the knowledge that they gained, and they get these pieces of information from all over these places, and they, what I'm trying to say is, they follow who the world says are leaders today. And what they don't understand is, it's just unfolding itself out of evil. It's unfolding the purity. And the pure will rise up to the top. It's true Zion rising up to the top. It's true fat. It's true. See, Jews have this term that believing in him, it'll make you fat. Well, that fat is oil. It'll make you fat in the spirit. It'll make you fat in the presence. So as we grow in our light, we get closer to the fire, closer to the center of the fire is, oh my gosh, all these beautiful colors of ultraviolet lights and all this kind of stuff. But all the red is the outer part of the fire. And that's the first gate down here. See, the first gate, what are you doing? Let's just imagine his doorway of his temple, okay? One of these legs is the kingdom of Yehuda, and one of them is the kingdom of the bride, basically. Even though they're all the bride, it's all a symbol of something, him expressing himself on this earth. So the two legs, the two posts, and the lintel where they meet is the gate, is where the blood covenant is. Don't women have a blood covenant? Isn't when she's penetrated, doesn't the hymen break and that's a blood covenant? Or every month, doesn't she have a blood covenant when she doesn't produce when she doesn't produce from this, she doesn't have seed to produce her egg every month. She rejects it. It's like a miscarriage in a way. It's blood, and that's why she is unholy, because it was something that was not given up to be a baby. So she becomes unclean, but there's a blood covenant that happens. Isn't the blood, the males, don't they have, they get circumcised? It's a blood covenant. And that's the door of the mantle. That's where Yeshua literally was that blood covenant. He is the Lamb. He will be the Lamb. He always was the Lamb. It was an image of what we have to do to light this candle. This is about Hanukkah coming up too. That we light this candle. It's the first day of oil that you light up. It's basically accepting the fact that he died for us to show us the way. He says, pick up your cross and follow me. He died for us. He did the Father's will rather than his own will. He died for us to show us the way of ascension, of everlasting life. It's a code. Yeah, that first blood, that first part of the covenant is just to get you out to the desert. But when you're out in the desert, doesn't mean you're going to survive out there, does it? Some died out there, didn't they? It's just getting the 144. Thank you. It's just getting the people together and come out of Babylon and to come and grow their tree and to become a tree within the tree of life, to become a branch within the tree of life that you find in him. And he literally connects your lights back to the Father of lights. It's Yahushua that connects you back. It's just, he's a spirit now. He was a spirit. It was just the spirit of the Son. He made every single person in his image. And so what we're trying to do is bring the body together, because what he did was he created this chaos of separation so that we would know suffering, because he wanted a bride. He wanted a bride that would love him and respect him and honor him and feel blessed to have him. Okay? This is what he was looking for all along. And how else is a bride going to know that unless she's been abused by the world and separated from him? To have something and yet fall and then come back. And now we come back as, now we know what we lost. We're never going to do that again. But you don't know what you have until you've lost it. This is an image for Yehuda, for Ephraim, for all of us. It's the reason why he said you can't know true love until you've known true pain. It's the reason why he left her in the Song of Solomon. He left her and made her look all for him and find him finally in the mountaintops. And when she says, why did you leave me? Why? And he says, well, you wouldn't have grown if I didn't leave you. You wouldn't grow. You wouldn't grow your tree. You would just be down here on the first gate of accepting and falling in love with me. That was what the Moschiac was supposed to do for this season, this church age that we had, that's now over. This church age that we had, that we would come home. It was to light the trees and reignite the people to fall in love and come back home to the Father. And those who are being led to his Torah are being led to his light. And they're being led to the wedding. Because to do the wedding is to do the Torah. That's what the whole scriptures are about. That's what all of creation is about. All of creation is about Yah. Being lonely. And so what he did was he separated himself so he can explore himself and find himself, actually. Yeah. That's what he's saying to me. He was trying to find himself. So he scattered himself. It was no difference than a man downloading himself. Let's just say a man downloading himself into AI, each a different expression of him, just to find out who he is. So he created some for darkness and some for light. He created all these things were on purpose so that we would know separation. Don't you think he knew we were going to fall? He created the light. He is the light, and he created the darkness too. It was so that we would know pain and suffering, and so that we would know the curse. It's plain and simple. It's no different than any father saying, don't touch the fire, because if you touch the fire, you're going to be burnt. Well, until you actually get burnt, you don't actually know what that is. And then you realize, oh, Daddy knew what he was saying. This is all about us coming back and being one with him and being him, being the portion of him that he created you to be. And he's calling it people, and they're going to be called all kinds of crazy things. And this is the ones that I'm looking for. These are the ones that I'm looking for, the peculiar stones. The ones that have been called with mental illnesses and this and that. I'm sure if I went in now and told them what I hear from them, they'll have me on, they'll think I'm a schizophrenic. And they'll put you on drugs just to shut that off, just to basically say, hey, you're experiencing heavenly realms. Let's put some medicine so that you come back to earth. All these things were meant to bless us. All the harm that was done through vaccinations to our people was actually to make us peculiar and to bless us in the end. So you know that you can test. You test the spirits. You test. I've had over 30 years. Well, actually longer than that. A lot longer than that. But 30 years after, him hitting me, him coming into me, and the fire of Yah coming into me. It was different. Abba used Yahushua, his little light, like the Jews go around looking for the leaven in the house, to actually do that in me. And he let Yahushua take it outside and burn it for me on the stake. He took it with the Holy Spirit, which is the feather, and he put it onto the wooden spoon, which is the stake, and he took it outside and burnt it. And that was why I was able to get the fire of Yah, which was the Father coming in. Then Big Face came and almost burned me with love and fire and electricity and vibration and frequency, I guess. It was just, it almost killed me. He almost killed me with love. And now I know. Now I work and I do what the Father's will is instead of mine. See, my will, all the people think that I'm doing all this stuff out of ego. It's actually me laying my life down, my ego down. Because my will is to get along. My will is to look, not like this, but to look Babylonian. My will is to fit in. My will is, my ego wants to be, it wants to fit in and be considered big in this kingdom, let's say. But so he makes me make everybody hate me. And they're saying they're doing that because, and they're calling me evil. I'm like, but you don't understand. I'm doing everything exactly opposite of what I want to do. I'm doing the Father's will. And that's what the truth is. That's the test. And that's why he says, they're going to hate you. And unless they say anything bad, if people say things bad about you, then you're actually pleasing the world instead of pleasing me. He flat out told us. He He gave us the way to be like him. He didn't say to come so that we can worship him. He never said that. As a matter of fact, when somebody said, what do I need to do to enter the kingdom of heaven? He said, follow the laws. Yahushua said this. He didn't say a sinner's prayer and you got my blood. Just plead my blood anywhere you go and you'll be all good. It's not what he said. He said, follow the commandments. He said, listen to those who hold the seat of Moshe. Don't do as they do, but do as they say. And he says, I already follow those commandments. Now he says, go sell everything you have and give it to the poor then. That's what's holding you back. And what he was doing was, he was saying, the commandments, your next step is giving everything that you have, your status, your everything, your status in this world, and your comforts of this world, and follow me. Give it to the poor and follow me. And that was where he got him, because he was stuck there. He knew he couldn't do that. That was something that because he was wealthy, he couldn't give up his, it's a really hard thing for me. He tests me with this all the time. When I go and he has me sleep on whatever, when I go to, I could go to Greece. My mom is there with a house and a car, and there's a beach in every direction. You're always 5 minutes. Wherever you are, you're 5 minutes from a beach. You would literally wear your swim trunks as underwear and just put a short pair of shorts on and go and just jump in the water wherever you are. And I couldn't never do that before because I was sick. But now I do because of him. What I'm trying to say is, I can go there in total luxury and pleasure now with how much the cannabis has helped me. I can do those things. Before I used to go, and my family used to do those things, and I would lay on the couch. And people would get mad at me. And I'd be like, I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I'm sick. And they would just make fun of me. Because I was sick. And they couldn't see anything wrong with me. They said, well, you can walk, you could do that, you could, You don't understand. I almost died last night. Because I did too much here. I got very close last night. I know when my body goes into shock. I know what happens. I know what my blood pressure does. I know all these things that happen. And I'm thankful. Before it used to be ambulance rides. And now, thank God my son was here and was able to. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's all about us being ignited with his light, coming back to him in love and trusting him and falling in love with him and learning to hear him. And that's my job. I'm not here to make you follow me and to try to trick you in any way or to become any kind of I know who he tells me I am, and I just kind of laugh, and I laugh because I'm like, I'm just, yeah, that's not me. That's you. And he's like, exactly. But we are one spirit now. And I can be you here. I want to share something with you. Very, 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 this is people are going to think is crazy, but some people will have ears to hear this. And he was talking to me so much, and he's with me so much, and I'm like, who is this? And I remember just looking at a friend's mirror that they brought to our house. And I looked into this mirror and I said, who are you? When I would feel him in me. And what I heard threw my butt on the ground. Because I heard back, as I looked in the mirror, I heard back, I am Elohim, expressing myself through you. And I ended up on the ground. And I thought to myself, what is this? I'm crazy. Now I'm thinking I'm God? But no, if you think about it, it all makes total sense, doesn't it? Don't you know that you're God's? Don't you know who you are? When you start realizing who he is and who you are, and you start becoming one, you'll start to understand all things. Then it all makes sense. Now I see all the religions and I see exactly what he's doing. And I'm like, look back from the whole thing and go, wow. And all these things I thought were evil are just necessary. They're his tools. What I'm trying to say is, let's just look at, see, you know, what they say, a cult and this and that. Let's just say disobedience is witchcraft. Because that's what he says. Witchcraft is as disobedience. So, all he did was he told us from Adam and Eve, it was always the same thing. It's just disobedience. He says, don't eat of that tree. Oh, they did it. Darn it, now they can't even look at me. Now they're disconnected from my light. Now they have to be tethered to this earth instead of being able to come out of their body like a tree and actually be in his glory all the time and walk with him. Now they have to suffer. Now she's going to have pain in childbirth. Now he's going to have to toil for his food. Now. And that's what was lost because of disobedience. That's all it is. But if Yah tells you to do something, like he literally told me to look at Kabbalah, and all I did was listen to a video, I did it. And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, if this is evil, if I'm evil. And no, it was exactly what he was teaching me since the 80s. I already knew Kabbalah. He was teaching it to me directly. That's why when he sent me to a conference, I was there because people were entering into the heavenly realms and he wanted me to judge their hearts, whether they can be there or not. That's how it's working. That's how it's playing out. So I got to go there and be a judge and not even knowing. All I knew, he was telling me that judgments were going to come through me. And I fought him and fought him. And then I just saw him working. Because all I do is listen and do. And I just see him work. And then he rises up in me. And that's the anger that comes up and out of me. That's everybody's like, ooh, evil. It's actually, ooh, him. It's the Father. And then I go, oh my God, there went their judgment. There came the judgment. They just called holy things because I was expressing, it was him in me finally putting the hammer down or putting the staff down and saying no. And they can't take it. They're like, who do you think you are? I'm like, actually right now, I'm actually Moschiac. He's shut up because he's talking. So shut the hell up. That's how it's coming. Be careful who and how you're talking to people because you might be talking to the Moschiac. Because I'm here to find 144,000 rods of iron that will bring his kingdom down. His kingdom of energy and fire and glory. And we're going to be living in a state of ecstasy together because we will love each other so much because we all have a love for the Father. And we want the truth to come through. Not made any man-made religion whatsoever. I am actually here for that 144,000, and he tells me that is Bet Kavod. And he tells me that I'm only in it to make sure that nobody controls it. That's it. See, I'm looking for men that are willing to lay their lives down, their reputations down, first of all. And they're not even willing to like something of mine because they think I'm weird. But they don't understand that peculiarity in me is actually him in me. See, all the normal is the wide gate that everything's going to hell. They're all fooled. The elect are the only ones that aren't fooled. So we're the woken up ones, the bride that wakes up.